Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Thanks for tuning in to Mpirecinema. I'm really excited today to be back doing another video. Today I'm going to be doing a reaction / prediction for season 2 of The Witcher. I really enjoyed the first season, although I had a hard time understanding it for a little bit in the beginning, but I'm glad I stuck out and watched the whole season because it really flowed in a nice way after I finished the show to really make sense of what was happening in the first season. And I kind of today want to touch base a little bit on season 1 because I want to kind of explain a little bit the timelines for people who have trouble understanding what was going on, because the whole show kind of takes place over like a 50-year period. In terms of, in the first season, they're covering like gaps from about within 50 years. So I had a hard time pinpointing what was the earliest part of the story, where the story originated. And I basically came down with the conclusion that the first episode was the earliest part, because in the first episode we find out what Witchers do, which is he's hunting a monster in the first episode, and he goes to a town to sell the monster's head type of thing. And that's where he runs into this character named Remery, and that's where I think the first episode is. And he also like speaks to a mage in a tower that wants him to do a specific thing for him to get rid of a certain monster. And I'm not going to go too far into the first season in terms of like spoiling for new people who want to watch the series, but I just wanted to really explain this part because I think that is the most important part to understand, that while you're watching the first season, there'll be a lot of time jumping, and I think that's the earliest part for new people to focus on, I guess. And so throughout the first season, they focus on 3 characters, which is obviously Geralt, the Witcher, then we have Ciri, and then we have Yennefer. What I think is pretty interesting, that the first season doesn't focus like Geralt is the main character in the show, right? But the story focuses on the Ciri's arc rather than Geralt's. So we find out that there's some sort of battle, that Ciri runs away from it to save her life and stuff. Her grandmother goes into war with this other city of Nilfgaard and all that. And that's where the story gets really interesting, because I think the first season, all the stories in the first season are happening over a 50-year period. So this is where the time jumping starts happening. So I think the first episode is like 50 years before that actual attack of Nilfgaard on Sintra. I think the first episode is about 50 years. I'm not exactly sure, but like that's kind of what I'm feeling. And then after, the second most important arc would be, I guess, Yennefer, because Yennefer happens probably about 20, maybe 30 years after the first episode, where Yennefer gets taken to the Lodge of Sorceresses, which that is also an important fact, because I think somewhere around when Yennefer meets Geralt, I'm pretty sure she is about like 50 years old. And that's, again, I think that's just an important information for new people to know, because it doesn't really explain that in the show very well. So that's kind of what is important. Now you can kind of piece together how the story is going. And of course Ciri, that would be the most recent part of the story, where they're driving the point of the first season to make it all make sense, right? So back to what I'm talking about is what I expect out of season 2 now is I really think that they're gonna continue with the story now right after the last episode. They're not gonna do the whole time jumping thing, because in the first they were doing the time jumping to really just introduce the characters to emphasize that Geralt is super old, because Geralt is about 100 years old in the show. But so they're introducing that part. They're also introducing the part that Yennefer is about 50 years old in the show, and they're talking about Ciri, because Ciri has been born, and that's kind of like the latest part of it. So that's how they're introducing, I guess, the information in the show. And I think they're just going to continue right after the last episode, and after this there's going to be no more time jumping. It's going to be all chronological, going from point A to point B type of thing. So I'm really excited to now just react to the season 2 trailer. Like, the newest one just came out a week ago, so that's what I'm going to be doing and commentating.
Something has changed, Geralt.
Okay, so I think the bodies line, I think those the Nilfgaard attacking people and continuing to destroy forces of Sintra.
Maybe it's the end of days.
Or continue and expanding their empires.
Monsters left in the world.
Monsters are really awesome. Oh, Ciri's older now. Okay, so I think we're gonna see more of a conjunction of the Sphere story type of thing, a little bit from, almost like a little bit from Witcher 3 game, because Ciri is a lot older here. She looks about 14 or 15 in here, because in the first season she seemed well, like only 11 or 10, maybe even 9, but now she's about 14, so I think they're going to be focusing on the conjunction of the Sphere arc. This is really awesome. It's literally exactly what I think. Like, it seems to be that now they're not going to be doing the time jumping. They're just going to be continuing after the main part of season 1, which is obviously Nilfgaard overtaking Sintra and destroying the Lodge of Sorceresses, and they're just going to continue immediately after that. And this is looking awesome. I'm excited. December 17th, it's going to be coming out. I'm super excited. Okay, I'm going to watch one more trailer. Oh yes, so, like, Cirilla's definitely a lot older. Destiny? She literally looks about 15 or 16. This is gonna look amazing.
What exactly is?
Like, I remember the first season looked beautiful. This is just, the graphics here are just on another level, like the cinematics. I hope they touch base a little bit on like the story of Geralt, like how he became a Witcher, and about like Kaer Morhen and all that stuff. They didn't do that in the first season. I wish they did. I hope they do that here. I hope they also like get Boromir in here. He's like a really big character in The Witcher, so it'd be interesting to see if they introduce those characters into the show. Oh, sorry, not Boromir, Vesemir. Sorry, messed that up. Vesemir. So yeah, Vesemir is gonna be here. This is awesome. Vesemir is gonna be here. Yes, I'm so excited. I'm so excited, man. You guys have no idea.
What if your princess?
Vesemir is awesome. Yeah, this season, I hope to all the new people, I hope you guys rewatch it. If you were confused about some of the events that were happening, I hope you rewatch it and just really pay attention to what's going on, because I think season 2 is going to be a lot different. Like, now it's going to be more consistent story based, so you are not going to be so confused. You just have to understand what happened in the first season. And I really think this is going to be kind of like the next Game of Thrones. Like, I really think this is going to be a really good show. Yeah, so this is my reaction, this is my prediction, this is my overall thoughts on the show. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me. Like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy my videos, and see you guys soon. I'll have more content out next week.